now, if she booked her Nile cruises with Lum Polly, she'd only need a £5 deposit.
Get away!
Oops. I want to be a musician.
You want to be earning your keep, my son.
I want to be quitting my first album. I want to be packing them in at Wembley.
You'll probably work your way through more than one job before you can be what you want to be. That's why new Prudential pension plans are designed to change from job to job with you.
Do you know I want to be Bobby's girl?
Oh, no.
Whatever you turn out to be, you'll want the flexibility of a new Prudential pension.
I want to be in the office at 8 on the dot.
Well, there's romance for you.
Now there's exhilaration for you. Now there's freshness for you.
Now, there's Wales for you.
To fully enjoy your golden crown, spread on a crumpet all golden and brown. 2 spoonfuls of butter in every pack. Very tasty.
Get out of that kitchen and shake that Worcester sauce. Well, come on and shake it on every course. I said shake jacket and cheese. I said shake tomato soup. I said shake burger and beans. I said shake pork and rice. What just add a dash of magic? That'll be real nice.
Liam Perrins, the Worcester Sorcerer. And now tomato ketchup with a touch of Worcester sorcery.
Christmas pudding, roast potatoes and gravy, Auntie Dora's turkey and stuffing, mince pies, brandy butter.
Most people put on a few pounds over the Christmas holiday. If you're one of them, start your New Year diet with the Kellogg's Special K breakfast and get the scale moving in the right direction.
Fruitcake, fruitcake, fruitcake.
Kellogg's Special K. Lose the holiday fat.
Are just inevitable. The Prime Minister said today he wanted everything done that could be done to protect the environment. Planes with chemicals to break up the slip can't overfly the area until the weather improves. One possible reason for hope, the oil is light crude, so it should disperse relatively easily. This report from Penny Marshall.
Clean-up teams were scrambled from the government's Marine Pollution Control Centre this morning as the disaster unfolded. Appalling weather conditions, however, have prevented any dispersal planes so far reaching the ship. Transport Minister Lord Caithness was briefed as Dutch salvage crews prepared to join British teams at the scene.
The worst possible scenario is obviously to have a lot of oil going up into the sheltered coves, into the sheltered bays where the wildlife is, where the fish farms are. That is what we're trying to prevent.
Some of Britain's most untouched and rugged coastlines at risk, a designated area of special scientific interest by Scottish national heritage. Close by, Europe's largest otter colony, at the moment swollen in numbers after the breeding season. But most threatened are the birds, breeds like guillemots and eider ducks. Seals, both common and grey, are in peril too. 3 have already been sighted, covered in oil and in distress. Many species, particularly birds like puffins, are away for the winter, but there are grave concerns for dozens of rare breeds at sea and on land.
Damage will happen to birds that are at sea. Their natural way of getting away from disaster is by swimming. And of course, from oil you can't swim away from it. You just go underneath, then back up into it again. And the birds then start to preen themselves, and they ingest the oil, they eat the oil, and they die. It's simple as that.
This remote Shetland area has only just recovered after an oil spillage from the tanker Essa Benicia, which blighted wildlife here 11 years ago. The Brer was carrying twice as much oil as Exxon Valdez, whose cargo brought death to hundreds of thousands of birds in Alaska in 1987. Today's leak, though, say campaigners, is the disaster they've been dreading.
This is a huge environmental catastrophe, and even when the oil disappears visually, which may take 3 or 4 years, cancer-causing chemicals will still be there in the food chain, in the shellfish, in the fish, ultimately in ourselves, and we have no idea what the ultimate toll of that will be.
Oil spill insurance of up to £4.5 million is available. But as environmentalists contemplate first light tomorrow, when Shetland's blackened coast will be revealed, no one's yet estimating the full cost of the clean-up.
Princess Margaret is in hospital with pneumonia. She's been in the King Edward VII Hospital for officers in London since Sunday. The palace said she was admitted as a precautionary measure. The princess, who is 62, has had chest trouble before. Joan Thurkettle reports.
Princess Margaret with the rest of the royal family at Sandringham on Christmas Day. Those close to her were saying then she looked tired and drawn and was coughing badly. She was actually taken ill on Saturday while staying with friends in Wiltshire. She went to the local hospital and was then moved to London. The health of the princess has often caused concern. 8 years ago, she had an exploratory operation on her lung in London's Brompton Hospital. It hadn't been forgotten that her father had died of lung cancer. Princess Margaret has always smoked, both heavily and in public, and medical experts say it's almost certainly this which has led to the pneumonia.
Well, people who smoke unfortunately suffer from bronchitis. Their lungs are really disabled. They're more likely to become infected with important bacteria, which can then go on to give pneumonia. And I'm afraid this is all too common a picture in this country amongst smokers.
Princess Margaret's biographer, Nigel Dempster, says she spent most of her adult life trying to give up. She's cut down from 60 a day to 20.
But this is not a very healthy person. She's very small. She's taken off a lot of weight. She's only 5 foot. She probably did weigh 2 stone more than she used to, but she's now much better. And she is someone who doesn't have her great interest in being healthy. She drinks scotch, she drinks gin, she smokes cigarettes, she doesn't eat properly, and I'm afraid that if ever there was someone who was prey to illnesses, it's Princess Margaret.
Princess Margaret's son, Viscount Linley, came to visit his mother earlier this afternoon. He left without speaking to reporters. Princess Margaret is expected to be home by the weekend. Joan Thurkettle, News at 10, at the King Edward VII Hospital in London.
The television comedian Marty Kane, who has a form of leukemia, has gone into hospital in London for a bone marrow transplant. Her agent said she was in good spirits and very optimistic about the operation. Miss Kane's cancer was first diagnosed in 1988.